presentation. The topic of the paper which we have written, I along with my co-author, is on the aspect of that how can India's education system escape the vicious cycle of inequality and discrimination. Now, coming to the main issue, that in the year 2002, when the 21st century began, the World Education Forum set up an ambitious goal, the goal of universal primary education by the year 2015. Similarly, in the year 2002, when the Constitution Act and the 86th Amendment of the Constitution took place, Article 21A of the Constitution was taken into the consideration, and free and compulsory education to the age group of 6 to 14 years of child was given and declared as a fundamental right of everyone. Now, the latent aim of this legislation, according to everyone in the country, is that somewhat we wanted to eradicate the social malady of child labor itself. Schooling does not only helps us to educate ourselves, but also young adulthood is an age. The primary education is very basic, which leads to a significant amount of substantial positive effects in our personality, whether it reflects in a better family planning or higher productivity at workplace or whatever we can think about at this point of time. Now, the suggestions which this paper comes up with are, first of all, decentralization of the education. Second one is the celebrating of differences. And third one being the promoting of gender equality. Starting with the decentralizing the education, I would like to start with saying that decentralization in the education sector simply implies a shift in the responsibilities for the well-organized resource management and education quality enhancements at a stages below the central level, that is at the state levels and the municipality levels. Decentralization of education is done basically to ensure that realistic targets set as per the needs of a region are implemented effectively in order to achieve a bigger national goal. Now, decentralization of education will also turn out to reduce the indulgence of too many government agencies. Here I'm focusing on the term too many government agencies. When we talk about the education of children, the ministries such as Labour Ministry, Child Rights Commissions, Women and Child Development Department, as well as HRD ministries are somewhere involved. The chaos which all these ministries coming together create is somewhat inescapable at this moment. Lastly, decentralization of the education will also introduce vocational studies in the primary schools, which will help us realize the hand-in-hand vocational studies importance, so that a particular geographical area which is relevant to a child's education can be focused upon. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that encouragement in the curriculum of the vocational studies is going to prove a very vital aspect in the future. Now, coming to the next suggestion, which is celebrating differences, I would like to say that a crucial benchmark that the primary school in India needs to establish in the cultures and ethos is that the primary school should intimate and reflect the status of feeling loved, valued, feeling of safety, and being part of a supportive community. Teachers such as Miss Ashia Faruqi, as we have heard her, are just proving it as celebrating differences in the real life aspect of this paper which I have written. For this to be achieved, the staff which is appointed should be carefully fabricated. This is very important aspect of anywhere implementing the primary education in our country. Coming to the last aspect of the paper and the last suggestion with which I would like to end is that gender equality. Our nation will never be able to achieve gender equality in education sector unless the made up social norms about women's role in society isn't questioned at primary school level. However, we have example of many different countries which have coped up with the issue of gender inequality. First is the concept of the consent classes which have taken place in Kenya. Second is the gender aware circular of the Turkey. And the last one being the policies forbidding gender discrimination in the textbook, which has taken place in Thailand at a very large scale. In conclusion, I would like to say that there are no quick fixes to the solution of the problem of managing good quality primary schools at present. But the concept of decentralized participative management of the primary school system, which involves stakeholders and is accountable to the society, definitely has its own merits. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Isha, for sharing your ideas and insights. Now, next up is Ms. Priyanka Thapa from Indian Institute of Legal Studies, West Bengal. The topic of her research paper is Right to Education and Gender Equality.
A very good afternoon to one and all present here, our honorable panelists and my fellow participants. The title of my research work is, just a moment, please. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay. So basically, the title of my research work is A Right to Education and Gender Equality with a question mark at the end. Because I think that whenever right to education or education in general and gender equality, these two terms are clubbed together, there are multiple questions that crop up in the minds of people relating to their interconnectivity. So basically, what my research work tries to do is my research work tries to answer those questions. We all know that education is a vehicle of social change. It is a vehicle of perspectives and opinions, and it is also a vehicle of social and very important, especially it is a bit ironical, but I'd like to add that India is a country which is rich in its culture and its heritage, and it has always kept education in a very high position. But on the contrary, when we look at the statistics uh, regarding education, I'm so sorry, I'm getting a bit nervous and I think I'm taking up a lot of time, but I'm a bit nervous. Can I take just 1 minute?
Yes, yes. No need to be nervous. You are doing great. Yeah. Just share the conclusion of your paper.
Yes, yes. Can I just switch off my video and
Yes,
can
yes,
I just
yes, yes. You
okay?
can.
Thank you so much. So as I was saying that since India is a country which has always kept education, which has always given education a very high priority. And when we go back in history and when we look at the status of women, in the early Vedic period, we see that the status of women was very high, and they had access to education, and they had access to so many other things, which made their position very unique. But when we see that as time progressed and as time progressed, it was like education was only restricted to men, and women were kept away from that, and education was a right for men, but when we talk about women, education became a privilege and not a right. So uh, there are various laws like the constitution which provides mm, which provides right to education as a fundamental right, and then we have the right to education act of 2009. But then uh, those acts are very good and perfect on paper, but in actual practice, I don't think that there has been a very good implementation of the same. And I feel that education and gender equality are interconnected, and in order to improve the present condition, there needs to be awareness, as well as there needs to be a better legislation along with its implementation.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.